Stop fooling yourself. You don't lose control because anger is stronger than you, but because you feed it without realizing it. You tolerate it, justify it, and even use it as an excuse to hurt others. Anger doesn't arrive suddenly. It simmers, slowly, mixing fatigue, pride, old wounds, and expectations that the world never promised to fulfill for you. When it explodes, it doesn't only destroy others, it also tears pieces from you. Stoicism is clear. Real strength is not in shouting louder or pretending calm while rage boils inside. True strength is being able to look at yourself in the mirror, in the midst of the storm, and continue choosing calm, not out of weakness, but out of respect for yourself. The one who governs their character always has an advantage. They think clearly, make better decisions, and are not dragged by impulse. This path is not comfortable. Controlling anger requires confronting what hurts you, letting go of the victim role, and accepting that no one else is responsible for your reaction. It's daily discipline. It's fighting against your old habits and silencing the ego that wants revenge. But every time you choose serenity over a burst of anger, you become stronger and freer. We're not going to sugarcoat it. If you don't master your anger, it will master your life. It will steal relationships, opportunities, and respect. If you're tired of reacting without thinking and regretting it later, it's time to change. It's not about extinguishing the fire within you, but learning to control it so that it becomes your tool, not your executioner. One, master the spark before the fire. Anger does not start with a shout or a slam on the table. It starts much earlier, in that small tension in the jaw, in the pulse that beats faster, in the breath that shortens. It's a spark. And if you don't recognize it in time, it will turn into a fire that will ravage your peace and that of those around you. Most people lose control not because anger is invincible, but because they ignore these early signs. They pretend that nothing is happening. They tell themselves that they are fine, and when they realize it, they have already burned bridges and words that they will not be able to recover. Stoicism teaches that strength is not in fighting the fire when it is already unleashed, but in mastering the moment when it just lights up. Marcus Aurelius said that what disturbs us are not things, but our interpretation of them. This is the first battlefield, your mind. When you learn to observe the spark, that thought that provokes you, that word that you feel like a blow, that feeling of injustice, and decide not to fuel it, you become the master of the situation. The problem is that many believe that controlling anger means repressing it. No, repressing is squeezing it inward until it explodes later. Dominating it means recognizing it without justifying it and acting before it becomes your master. Think of fire. You don't put it out by throwing gasoline, but neither by pretending it doesn't exist. You control it when you see it born. Start by training yourself to detect these early signs. The heat in your face, the tension in your shoulders, the knot in your stomach. Each time you notice them, take a pause. Literally, take 3 deep breaths, inhale counting to 4, exhale counting to 6. This simple act breaks the immediate impulse and gives you valuable seconds to think. Those seconds are the difference between responding with intelligence or with anger. Another Stoic practice is writing. It may seem simple, but noting what triggers your anger throughout the day reveals patterns. You discover that it is not the person itself that bothers you, but your expectation of them. It is not the traffic that angers you, but the idea that you should arrive earlier. This awareness is power. What is named can be controlled. What you ignore controls you. Surround yourself with environments that do not feed the spark. Sometimes it is not the problem itself, but the accumulation of fatigue, noise, unnecessary arguments. The Stoic takes care even of the environment because he knows that the agitated mind seeks any excuse to burn. It's not weakness to distance yourself from people or situations that only fan your bad mood. It is strategic intelligence. Controlling the spark does not mean that you will never feel anger. It means that you will not allow that emotion to dictate your behavior. Each time you act from calm, you strengthen your character. Each time you give in to impulse, you hand over control to something that does not deserve to govern you. The respect you earn does not come from appearing tough, but from showing that even in tense moments, you know how to stay on your axis. This intimidates conflict and attracts trust from others. In the end, whoever masters the spark shows that their strength is not in the roar, but in the serenity that imposes order before chaos appears. Mastering the spark is the basis of all emotional self-control. If you let the fire grow, there will be no strategy to contain it. But if you train your mind to capture that first flash, there will be no storm that can break you. This is how true power is built, not letting the external ignite the internal without your permission. 2. Listen to the signals from your body. The body never lies. Before you explode with hurtful words or impulsive gestures, your own body is already warning you. The problem is that most people live disconnected from these signals. They ignore the slight tremor in their hands, the pressure in the chest, the heat rising to the face, the pain in the neck. All of these are not passing annoyances, they are alarms. Your body is screaming at you that you're about to lose control, but you prefer to continue as if nothing. And then you say, "I don't know at what point I let myself go." You did know, but you didn't listen. Stoicism teaches that self-control begins with self-knowledge. You can't govern what you don't even recognize. Epictetus said that it is not the things that disturb us, but the opinion we have of them. That opinion provokes a reaction in the body. It accelerates the pulse, agitates the breathing, tenses the muscles. If you learn to detect these physical responses, you can intervene before the emotion takes over your mind. Imagine your body as a dashboard of lights that announces failures before the engine is damaged. When tension appears in the jaw, when the heart beats faster for no apparent reason, it is the equivalent of a red light saying, "Stop, breathe, check." But many people turn off the alert with distractions, loud music, excessive food, shouting. This is like covering the alarm with a blanket while the fire advances. One of the most powerful practices to reconnect with the body is conscious breathing. It is not a social media trend, it is physiology. Every time you inhale deeply and exhale slowly, you send a signal to the nervous system to reduce the fight or flight response. 3 deep breaths can change the course of a discussion and save a relationship. The simple is often the most ignored, but also the most effective. Physical care is also part of this lesson. A tired, dehydrated, or poorly fed body is fertile ground for anger. When you are exhausted, any comment seems like an offense. Any inconvenience feels like an attack. Serenity is not just a mental issue, it is also biological. Sleeping enough, eating in a balanced way, moving frequently. These are habits that strengthen self-control because they give the brain the resources it needs to regulate emotions. Contact with nature is another ally that the Stoics valued. Walking outdoors, feeling the sun, or simply observing a tree are acts that reduce cortisol levels and help deactivate accumulated anger. Don't underestimate the power of these simple gestures. Your body recognizes them as signals of calm, even if your mind is agitated. Listening to your body is also learning to stop when anger manifests physically. If you feel the heat rising to your neck and your breathing is agitated, take a step back. Literally, walk away from the place for a few minutes. Drink cold water, move your shoulders, release tension with stretches. It's not running away. It's acting strategically to prevent impulse from taking the reins. Over time, this attention to bodily signals becomes a shield. You detect the emotion before it becomes a storm. You reduce its intensity and act with greater clarity. Self-control is not achieved by ignoring the body, but by understanding it. Each physical sensation is a message. To ignore it is to invite chaos. 3. Ask yourself if your anger is worth your peace. Before exploding, ask yourself this: is it worth giving up your inner peace for what is happening right now? Most people don't ask themselves this question. They dive headfirst into anger as if it were inevitable. But each outburst has a cost. Hours of tension, words that can't be taken back, energy spent on pointless battles. The most absurd thing is that we almost always fight over things that a day later no longer matter. Stoicism reminds us that anger arises more from our perception than from the fact itself. Epictetus insisted that it is not the events that harm us, but our judgment of them. Asking yourself if your anger is worth your peace is like putting a filter between impulse and action. Does what bothers me justify losing the serenity that I have worked so hard to build? When you train your mind to question anger, you realize that it often comes from wounded pride, unmet expectations, or the illusion that everything should go as planned. Ask yourself, do I really need to prove that I am right? Does reacting with rage make me stronger, or just leave me exhausted and regretful? Anger may seem justified, but it rarely compensates for the damage it causes. Make this question a quiet habit. Every time you feel the urge to respond harshly, repeat in your mind, is this worth my peace? That pause of just 2 seconds changes everything. Because in those seconds, you remember that you can't control the world, but you can decide not to lose your calm over something that doesn't deserve so much power over you. A daily example, someone cuts you off in traffic. Your first reaction is to insult, honk the horn, speed up to get revenge. But if you ask if that reaction is worth your peace, the answer is obvious, no. You lose more energy in the fight than in letting it go. The same goes for family arguments, a sarcastic comment from a co-worker, impatience in a line. We spend our serenity on small things that won't change anything. Stoic self-control doesn't mean enduring everything in silence or resigning oneself to injustices. It means choosing the battles that really matter and responding from values, not from impulse. Most conflicts dissolve on their own when you decide not to fuel the fire with your reaction. Asking if your anger is worth your peace doesn't make you weak, it makes you strategic. A practical tool is to write after each moment of anger. Note what provoked it, how you reacted, and whether the reaction helped to resolve anything or just made the situation worse. Writing turns emotions into words, and words into clarity. Over time, you will notice that many of your outbursts were unnecessary, and that awareness reduces future flare-ups. Another technique is to remember that everything is temporary. Intense emotions feel eternal, but they are not. If you wait a few minutes before acting, that wave of anger subsides. Asking yourself if it's worth your peace helps you put the moment into perspective. What now seems huge will be insignificant tomorrow. It's an invisible shield that stands between the stimulus and the reaction, a reminder that your tranquility is not a bargaining chip for every external provocation. If you make it a habit, you will discover that many of the battles you were fighting were imaginary, and that the real victory is not letting anything or anyone buy your serenity with anger. 4. Act with values, not with pride. Pride is a fire that consumes from within. It makes you react quickly, shout louder, seek the last word, not to solve the problem, but to prove that you won. But deep down you won nothing. You lost calm, you lost respect, you lost energy. Pride is anger's favorite fuel. A single spark is enough for both to ignite your character. Stoicism teaches that virtue is the only reliable guide for action. Marcus Aurelius said that if what you do does not contribute to justice, temperance, courage, or wisdom, then it is better not to do it. Acting with values means making decisions that reflect your character, even when emotion screams otherwise. It means to be silent when you want to attack, stand firm without humiliating others, respond with dignity instead of revenge. Pride, on the other hand, is an impulsive actor. It convinces you that if you give in, you lose. It makes you believe that you have to defend your honor at any cost, even if that cost is your peace. It not only confuses the mind, it hardens the heart, closes you off to listening, and makes you a hostage of anger. Every time you allow pride to decide, you give up your self-control. Stoic self-control is not submission or weakness. It is contained strength. Acting with values is thinking, Does what I am about to say or do bring me closer to being the person I want to be, or does it lower me to the level of my impulse? That question can save you from unnecessary conflicts. Pride wants you to react to impress others. Values invite you to respond to respect yourself. A practical tool is to have your principles clearly written down. Take a moment to define what values guide your actions: respect, integrity, justice, serenity. Write them down in a notebook or on your phone and read them when you feel that anger is about to take over. This simple practice reminds you that your goal is not to win arguments, but to live aligned with what you consider right. In everyday life, acting with values means choosing silence when you know your words will only hurt, acknowledging your mistake even though it hurts your ego, refusing to respond with insults even though you are provoked. A clear example: in a family argument, someone throws an unfair comment at you to provoke you. Pride pushes you to respond immediately, to prove that you are not weak. But acting with values leads you to breathe, observe, and choose. I will not stoop to the level of this comment. Maybe you respond calmly. Maybe you choose to remain silent, but in both cases, you protect your peace and your dignity. The Stoic knows that his character is worth more than his momentary reputation. What others think today is forgotten tomorrow. What you do under pressure is etched in who you are. Therefore, every act of self-control is a brick in the fortress of your character, while every burst of pride is a crack that weakens the foundations. Remember, pride seeks immediate recognition. Values build lasting respect. People trust those who stand firm without exploding, not those who shout to prove a point. True respect is not imposed, it is earned with consistency. When you act with values, you not only control anger, you also free yourself from the need to impress others. Inner peace no longer depends on what others say or do, because you know that you acted according to your principles. That is real power, not betraying yourself, even if the world provokes you. Let your character be your shield. 5. Surround yourself with people who bring calm. Tell me who you spend your time with, and I'll tell you how much peace you'll have in your life. No matter how much you work on your self-control, if you live surrounded by conflictive, absorbing people who shout, criticize, or pick fights over everything, sooner or later, their chaos becomes yours. The emotional environment in which you live shapes your character more than you imagine. A glass of clear water, if it is dropped in mud, ends up contaminated. You are no exception. Stoicism has always defended the importance of company. Seneca warned that true friendship should strengthen the soul, not agitate it. Being surrounded by calm people does not mean living in absolute silence or with perfect people. It means choosing those who inspire you to maintain serenity even when life squeezes. They are the ones who do not feed your anger, who do not celebrate your impulse to take revenge, who do not fan your fire with poisonous comments. The problem is that many get used to living in environments full of drama. They surround themselves with friends who pick fights on social networks, relatives who make every meeting an ego competition, co-workers who turn small problems into storms. They believe that the anger they feel is only theirs, when in reality they have been breathing the smoke of others for years. Surround yourself with people who give you calm, not those who provoke you to explode. Look around you, who invites you to think before reacting and who incites you to fight without reason. That choice will make the difference between remaining trapped in a cycle of rage or building an environment that nurtures your self-control. This does not mean running away from everyone who has flaws. It means setting clear boundaries. You can love your family and still put distance when their words seek to provoke you. You can work with difficult people, but protect yourself from their emotional discharges by avoiding getting hooked on useless discussions. Boundaries are a self-care tool. Don't set them out of hatred, but out of respect for your mental peace. Actively seek spaces where calm prevails. A friend who knows how to listen, a mentor who does not lose composure, even a small group that shares self-control habits. All of this strengthens your own character. Calm is as contagious as anger, and choosing the right environment is as strategic as any breathing technique. A useful practice is to ask yourself after each encounter, did this person leave my mind more peaceful or more agitated? If you notice that you always leave exhausted, resentful, or irritable, that's a sign that something needs to change. Maybe it's the relationship, maybe just the frequency of contact, but ignoring it is allowing others to manipulate your emotional state. The digital environment also counts. Social networks full of confrontations, gossip, and attacks ignite anger even if you don't notice it. Limit the time with content that feeds rage and follow accounts that promote self-control, reflection, and serenity. What you consume with your eyes and ears is as important as the people you physically interact with. The Stoics knew that you cannot control the world, but you can choose where and with whom to invest your time. You don't need a huge circle, just people who elevate your character. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your reactions. If your environment breathes calm, it will be easier for you to stand firm. If it breathes conflict, anger will find a shortcut to you. 6. Turn problems into challenges. It's not the problem that robs you of your peace, it's the way you choose to see it. Most people freeze in the face of obstacles because they interpret them as punishments, injustices, or signs of defeat. Anger grows in this way because you feel like a victim of something that shouldn't be happening. But the truth is, problems are inevitable. What you can change is the meaning you give them. What you call a problem can be the perfect excuse to fall into anger or the opportunity to show your inner strength. That choice is entirely yours. Stoicism teaches that facts in themselves have no power to harm you, only your perception does. Marcus Aurelius stated it clearly, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This idea is not philosophical poetry, it's a tool to survive adversity without losing control. If you choose to see each obstacle as a training, you stop reacting with anger and start acting with strategy. Anger feeds on the why me and weakens with the how can I use this to grow. Changing focus transforms emotion into directed energy, not uncontrolled fire. Think of the warrior who trains with heavy stones. What at first seemed a burden becomes the tool that makes him stronger. So it is with challenges. What now seems like a punishment can make you firmer and more disciplined if you take it as an exercise for your character. A practical technique is to ask yourself 3 questions every time you face a difficulty. First, can I control this situation? Second, what concrete action can I take now? Third, what can I learn from this even if I can't change it? Answering honestly reduces frustration and prevents you from wasting energy on what doesn't depend on you. This, which the Stoics called the dichotomy of control, is key to not falling into anger. When you accept what you can't change, you regain power over yourself. When you focus energy on what you can influence, anger loses its reason to exist. Another powerful resource is the language you use to describe what you face. Don't say, this is an impossible problem. Say, this is a challenge that will test my patience and my strategy. Words not only communicate, they shape the way you think and react. If you label everything as a problem, your mind is predisposed to complaint and anger. If you name it a challenge, your brain looks for solutions. Emotional self-control is also strengthened with small voluntary challenges. Seneca recommended practicing discomfort from time to time, walking under the heat, sleeping without luxuries, taking breaks to reflect when you want to run. These experiences teach you to resist frustration and not to give up at the first setback. You can spend an hour furiously hitting the steering wheel, or use that time to practice patience, listen to something educational, or simply observe your breathing. The external fact doesn't change, but your response does. That's the power of turning the problem into a challenge. You regain control over yourself. Remember that your character is not formed on easy days. It is forged in the moments when you decide not to give up or lose your cool in the face of the unexpected. Each obstacle overcome with serenity is a test passed for your mind. Each reaction of anger is a missed opportunity to demonstrate strength. Transforming problems into challenges is not an empty motivational phrase. It's a practical strategy to maintain inner peace while you move forward. 7. Let go of others' expectations. Much of your anger does not stem from what others do, but from what you expect them to do. You expect them to understand you, to act as you would, to respect your boundaries without you having to say it, to react according to your logic. And when they don't, you explode. It's not the world that hurts you. It's the gap between your expectation and reality. As long as you remain tied to the invisible demands you impose on others, you will continue to give them the power to disrupt your peace. Stoicism warns that the source of many frustrations is trying to control the uncontrollable. Epictetus summed it up clearly. We suffer because we want things to happen as we want, instead of wishing they occur as they do. This teaching hits the ego because it forces us to acknowledge that we cannot program others' behavior or shape circumstances to our liking. We can influence, but not control. And the sooner you accept this, the less room there will be for anger to grow. When you let go of others' expectations, it doesn't mean you stop setting boundaries or tolerate abuse. It means you stop expecting people to be as you imagine. It's freeing the mind from a useless burden. You stop thinking, they should have listened to me, or they should respect my time, and start acting from what does depend on you. Expressing your boundaries clearly, deciding who you share your energy with, and how you react to disappointments. A useful practice is to identify each frustration and ask yourself, is this an expectation that I created? Often you will discover that no one promised to fulfill that idea you had in your head. This simple exercise reduces anger because it gives you control over the real cause of your discomfort. It was not the action of another, it was your interpretation. The Stoics insisted on training the mind to accept human nature. There will be people who do not think like you, who fail, who disappoint. It's not about resigning, but about not allowing their inconsistency to destroy your calm. By letting go of what you expect from them, you don't lose hope, you gain freedom. The freedom to react from serenity and not from the wound. A daily example. You expect a friend to return an important call and they don't. You spend the day upset, imagining excuses and feeling ignored. Did they fail you, or did your expectation that they should respond immediately fail you? If you had let go of that silent demand, you wouldn't have allowed that detail to ruin your day. Letting go of others' expectations is an act of emotional maturity. Those who practice it become harder to provoke because they understand that others' actions reflect their character, not yours. This not only protects your inner peace, it also strengthens your relationships. You stop imposing invisible burdens and start communicating clearly. Let go of others' expectations, and you will notice how anger loses one of its biggest allies: constant disappointment. Accepting that you can't control anyone is freeing yourself from a battle you were never going to win. Only then can you dedicate your energy to what really matters: your character, your reaction, your peace. 8. Remember that everything is temporary. Nothing that angers you today will remain the same forever. Neither the person who hurt you, nor the situation that overwhelms you, not even the emotion that burns within you. Everything changes, everything passes. The problem is that when we are caught in anger, we believe that the present moment is eternal and that the pain will never end. This illusion fuels the fire. You react as if the upset will last a lifetime, when in reality it is just another moment in the flow of days. Stoicism insists on the impermanence of things as an antidote against overwhelming emotions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself that even the most powerful realms disappear, that today's glory and suffering will fade over time. Remembering that everything is temporary takes away the urgency to react violently. It tells you that it is not worth ruining your character for something that will soon be just a blurry memory. Anger often grows because you treat it as definitive. You tell yourself, this will always be like this. It will never change, and that mental exaggeration multiplies the pain. But when you understand that circumstances, people and emotions are transient, you regain perspective. The insult that hurt you will be forgotten. The argument that seemed immense will be insignificant in a few weeks, and your impulsive reaction will be the only thing that leaves scars if you don't control it. A practical technique to remind you of temporality is the conscious pause. Before responding with anger, breathe and say in your mind, "This too shall pass." It seems like a simple phrase, but it creates a space between the stimulus and the reaction. In that space, your mind cools down, and the intensity of the emotion decreases. Anger cannot withstand the perspective of time. It loses strength when you remember that it is fleeting. It is also useful to reflect at the end of the day. Ask yourself, will this thing that bothered me today matter in a month, a year? 90% of the time the answer will be no. This practice reduces the emotional weight you carry and trains your mind not to exaggerate the importance of immediate problems. Contact with nature can help you internalize this truth. Observe a river. It is never the same water that runs. Look at the sky. The clouds change shape and dissolve in minutes. This is how life works. Everything flows, everything transforms. This visual reminder calms the ego that insists that the current pain is permanent. The Stoics saw time as a silent teacher. Accepting the fleetingness of things is not resignation. It is freeing your mind from the trap of believing that everything is stuck in the present. This awareness allows you to act with more wisdom. Why would you give your peace to something that tomorrow will not be the same? A daily example, someone humiliates you in public. Your impulse is to hit back verbally and make them pay. But if you remember that that person, that moment and that emotion are ephemeral, you decide not to sacrifice your character for a moment of rage. You let time do its job because you know that what today seems huge will tomorrow be just an anecdote without power over you. Remembering that everything is temporary gives you perspective, and perspective is the natural enemy of anger. Most impulsive reactions are born from forgetting this truth. Keep it present, and you will notice that the urgency to explode fades. Serenity comes from trusting that change is constant and that your self-control is more valuable than any immediate response. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.